Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang, Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung held his New Year's press conference at the Blue House on Wednesday. Around 160 domestic and international journalists attended the event at the Yeongbin-gwan Reception Hall. In his opening remarks, President Lee reiterated his 5 policy priorities for the year: region-led growth, growth that shares opportunities and gains more evenly, sustainable growth built on safety, culture-driven growth, and stable growth underpinned by peace. The Q&A session was divided into 3 categories: the economy, diplomacy and national security, and society and culture. Seoul Central District Court has sentenced former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo to 23 years in prison for aiding an insurrection. This marks the judiciary's first ruling that states that the December 3rd martial law declaration constituted the crime of insurrection under the Criminal Act. 23 years is also 8 years more than what the special prosecution had requested. According to the ruling, Han's role as a prime minister vested him with democratic legitimacy and responsibility, yet he abandoned his constitutional duty to uphold the constitution and the rule of law. South Korea's Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chol has announced plans to bolster export financing with a new policy-backed funding vehicle. Speaking at a meeting of economy-related ministers on Wednesday, the minister said support will be expanded to cover long-term and lower credit projects, including defense, nuclear power, and industrial plants to help firms enter new markets. He also announced plans to introduce a so-called Strategic Export Finance Fund designed to channel corporate gains back into strengthening the broader industrial ecosystem. Koo added that the government will roll out targeted incentives to boost potential growth, ease polarization, and promote shared growth between large corporations and small and medium-sized companies. South Korea's antitrust regulator has imposed its first-ever sanctions on collusion involving loan-to-value ratios, fining the country's 4 largest commercial banks, KB Kookmin, Shinhan, Hana and Uri, a combined 272 billion won, or $183.7 million. The Korea Fair Trade Commission said the banks, which together control around 60% of the country's mortgage market, coordinated limits on LTV ratios, significantly restricting consumers' ability to choose among lenders. The Commission found that the coordinated real estate lending restrictions between 2022 and 2024 resulted in tighter borrowing conditions, with the 4 banks offering average LTV ratios 7.5 percentage points lower than those of non-colluding banks in 2023. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.